To start with, the art in this is inconsistent. It's very sketchy and has a boxy quality to it that I didn't anticipate based on the cover art. I would usually complain about this to some extent, but I have to admit that it grew on me. Soshi in particular really carries this for me. I'm a sucker for cute chibis, and Soshi has some of the cutest chibi panels of all time. The boxy, sketchy little Metalhead being all shy and awkward will make your heart soar. I think this is worth reading for him alone. The story, however, rules. It's such a soft and fluffy story of an extrovert and an introvert coming together and learning about each other. Of course, there's so much to learn about Soshi, and a major point in the story is Soshi realizing he wants to be close to people despite his fears and anxiety. But where this really shines is in Kento's growth. He doesn't come off as a character that needs much exploration and growth beyond accepting Soshi and learning who he is. But as it turns out, Kento has his own fears. Unlike his best friend who is openly gay, Kento is in the closet, and much of the issues between him and Soshi arise due to his fear of being rejected because of that. It's very powerful, especially when Kento finally confesses, and Soshi finds himself having to not only find his voice and learn to want friendship, but also to learn about what romance and love might mean for him. Both of these people have to be painfully vulnerable for very different reasons, but they aren't so different deep down. However, as much as I love the story, it isn't perfect. There is a substantial time skip between when they initially meet and when they start hanging out all the time, so it can feel a bit jarring. This is a single volume title, so I understand why the skip happened. However, because it is a single volume, I desperately long for all the content we missed out on because of the time skip. I fell in love with both characters, especially Soshi, so I wanted every minute I could get with them. If ever this became a full-fledged series, I would be all over it. But for what little time we do get with them, it's such a sweet and fluffy time. Speaking of sweetness and fluff, while this is categorized as yaoi and has that yummy little explicit content warning on the cover, the entire main story has zero sexy time. If not for the extra at the end, this would no doubt be shonen ai. That isn't necessarily a detractor for me. Still, I imagine some people might come into this expecting a smutfest at most and a smattering of lusty times at minimum, but this is almost entirely platonic, minus some kissing over the course of the main story. With that said, for anyone who wants to avoid sexy time in their BL, just don't read the extra and you won't be missing much of anything. Meanwhile, for my fellow degenerates, don't come into this expecting a bedroom scene in the first chapter, you will be disappointed.